A wanted criminal jumps onto the roof of a train that is rapidly decelerating because the police had set up a roadblock ahead, and once the train stopped, the 4 fugitives inside would be sitting ducks. Lincoln climbs down from the escalator, successfully reaches the driver's cabin, and orders the train driver to crash through the blockade. At the same time, Lincoln opens the cabin door to let his accomplices in, threatened with their lives. The train driver has no choice but to restart the acceleration lever. Thus, they successfully break through the first critical barrier set up by the police. However, Michael knows that when the train stops at the next station, there will be even more police waiting for them, making escape impossible. After a moment of hesitation, Michael finally comes up with a cunning escape plan. After the 4 leave the driver's cabin, the train driver hears over the intercom that the fugitives have jumped off the train. He looks out the window and indeed sees several wanted criminals, so he immediately makes a distress call. Within minutes, a large number of police officers arrive at the scene and launch a helicopter to thoroughly search the area. Under the net, they were finally arrested by the police successfully, but then they realized that they were just railway staff dressed as the 4 fugitives. It was actually Michael who coerced the employees into sending the false alarm to the train driver, then swapped their clothes with those of the 4 employees, warning them to run into the forest if they didn't want to get shot. Meanwhile, because the police force at the next station was depleted, Michael and his 3 companions safely arrived in Chicago, swaggering through unchallenged. In order to clear their names and bring down the president, they steal a used car and head to a private cigar club to find out what secrets Sarah's assassinated governor father is hiding there. Sarah holds the key, searching for her father's cigar cabinet, while Michael keeps watch outside. But just as Michael is looking at the club's staff roster, a police car suddenly drives up to the window. Realizing that the police have already been monitoring the place, Michael quickly pulls Sarah to escape through the back door. As fugitives, they have no way to enter again, but on the club's introduction list, Michael sees an old acquaintance, Henry Pope, who was once the warden of Fox River State Penitentiary, was forced into early retirement and lost 30 years of pension because of Michael and the others' escape, and he just happens to be a member of this club. Sarah knocks on Henry's door. They reveal their purpose for coming, but how could Henry possibly aid 2 fugitives? The fact that Henry was dismissed and lost his pension at the brink of retirement was all because of Michael and others' escape. Just as Henry is about to call the police, Michael, out of desperation, pulls out a gun. Michael says this recording is crucial evidence of Lincoln's innocence and could even prove the president's crimes. If the contents of the cabinet don't prove everything they've claimed, he's willing to surrender himself. With everything said, Henry decides to trust Michael one more time. Henry finds a USB drive inside an envelope in Sarah's father's cigar cabinet. Indeed, skeptical at first, Henry borrows a computer and, after listening to the recording, hurries out of the club. But then, an unexpected visitor blocks Henry's way.
Henry, you don't mind if I ask you to empty your pockets?
As a matter of fact, I do.
I'm not going to play any games, Henry. We both know why you came here today.
I suggest you get out of my way, young man.
I can't do that.
Lincoln and Paul, who were keeping watch from the opposite building, quickly head down. Meanwhile, Michael drives over and hits Bill. Lincoln arrives and kicks Bill's gun away, not forgetting to throw several punches at Bill's face before leaving. Paul also takes out other enemies, but as he is about to get into the car, Sarah coldly locks the door, harboring a deep resentment for the torment Paul inflicted on her. Hearing the approaching sirens, Paul has no choice but to flee on foot. After obtaining the USB drive, Michael also gets out of the car with Henry, as he plans to fulfill his promise to surrender himself. However, Henry changes his mind after listening to the recording, which indeed contains crucial information as Michael said, and believes in Lincoln's innocence. As for the surrender, Henry suggests waiting until Michael has done what he needs to do. They part ways, and Henry finally finds a safe hotel. Upon listening to the recording, they are stunned by its contents.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The recording not only contains a conversation between Caroline and Terrence but also includes something unimaginable. The release of this recording could clear Lincoln's name and definitely bring Caroline down. However, being fugitives, any revelation they make could be dismissed as fake, so it must come from someone within the government. But where to find trustworthy government agents? Lincoln immediately thought of his father's secretary. Maybe she knows someone. After some inquiries, they finally contact the former acting attorney general, Cooper. However, their excitement dips again when Cooper listens to the recording. It turns out the recording is a copy, and the copied audio cannot determine the time of recording. This means the recording can't prove whether it was made before or after Terrence's fake death, and therefore, cannot clear Lincoln's innocence. But Cooper implies that although the recording is legally useless, Caroline doesn't know it's a copy. Michael quickly realizes he can use the recording to blackmail Caroline into granting a pardon, potentially saving him and his brother. If you come across someone with such a lewd expression in a restaurant, remember to steer clear because his motive for murder may be more than you can imagine, simply because the person looked somewhat similar to him. Teabag grabbed a metal object from the table and harshly struck the person's head. Teabag's sole purpose was to use the victim's ID to buy a plane ticket to Mexico, but when the staff was putting Teabag's luggage into the cargo hold, wads of robbed money fell to the ground. Luckily, no one else saw it.
Sir, I know that bag is way over the weight limit for carry-on.
Pounds make on a 3-ton aircraft, whether it's up above or underneath.
It's an FAA violation.
Wanting to avoid further complications, Teabag could only watch as the package containing $5 million was placed into the cargo hold. Unbeknownst to him, Bellick was also on the same flight. Bellick has now become Mahone's lapdog, earning $200,000 for each escaped prisoner he captures. This time, Bellick is headed to Mexico specifically to capture Sucre, who is hiding there. Fortunately, they are seated in different classes on the plane and do not notice each other, but when they were getting off the plane to pick up a package, Teabag finally spotted Bellick, who was also picking up a package. To avoid him, Teabag can only watch helplessly as his package is pushed into the warehouse. As Teabag sneaks into the warehouse to retrieve it himself, he is discovered by a staff member and mistaken for a thief. Fearing being recognized, Teabag quickly grabs a suitcase and hurls it at the staff member's head. The two engage in a fierce struggle, and Teabag knocks the staff member unconscious with a punch. The machinery detects an anomaly and emits a deafening alarm, leaving Teabag no choice but to abandon the package and flee in panic. Meanwhile, Sucre has successfully reunited with Maricruz in Mexico and is living a happy life in a house provided by his aunt. But while Sucre was watching TV, the news was showing a robbery at the airport by an unknown man. Sucre looked at the man and saw that it was Teabag, who had taken the $5 million. But how could he have robbed the bag?
Do you really believe that money is at the airport? Hey, forget it.
Sucre has the idea to get the $5 million so that they can live the rest of their lives without worrying. However, Maricruz opposes the idea, not wanting to risk their current happiness for money. Sucre, content with having such a considerate girlfriend, turns to wash some cherries, only to find Maricruz missing.
Hey, looky here, good old Sucre.
What did you do to them? Where are they? Maricruz!
Hey, keep your cap on! Unless you want to see me try out the new T-20Z on your bella muchacha Maripoon, I think you better come with me.
It turns out Bellick has taken Sucre's girlfriend and aunt hostage, forcing Sucre to surrender for their safety. But upon learning Bellick is after the $200,000 bounty, Sucre offers a more tempting deal.
Wait. What if I know where you can get $5 million?
Where is it?
I could take you there. If you didn't have to take me back to the States and turn me back in.
Where is it?
Teabag's in town.
Teabag has meanwhile hired people to retrieve the package. As he looked towards the entrance, he just happened to see Sucre and Bellick coming for the package. Teabag broke into a sprint, then hailed a taxi and hurriedly made his escape.
Teabag, please! I need that money! I'm begging you! Please!
Luckily, Sucre finds a tag on the package with the tourist's identity information. They immediately head to the tourism bureau, where, using Bellick's fake FBI identity, they ask the staff to call them once the person is spotted. With the money, Teabag resumes a comfortable life, hiring a woman to wear a wig and impersonate his beloved Susan, reliving their sweet moments together. However, when time is up and the woman demands more money to continue, Teabag, not lacking funds but annoyed by the mood being spoiled, argues with her. Unexpectedly, the woman insults Teabag's beloved Susan.
I don't know who this Susie is, but no wonder she wants nothing to do with you.
You didn't just call her a did you?
Okay.
Leading Teabag to kill again and flee to Panama, Sucre and his companion receive a call from the tourism bureau, unaware that Michael and his brother's destination in their escape is also Panama. Thus, several key escapees coincidentally gather in the same place, unaware they are stepping into a much larger conspiracy, believing in the importance of abiding by the law. One can deeply understand the despair and helplessness that come with being a fugitive through the ordeal of this escapee.
You know Daddy loves you with all his heart, right? I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
Benjamin was not inherently a bad person. He had once served as a soldier on the battlefields of Afghanistan. He was sent to prison after being framed by his superiors as retaliation for whistleblowing on a higher-ranking officer. Driven by the longing for his wife and children, Benjamin joined a group of 8 escapees and successfully broke out of prison. He acquired an RV, planning to flee to some place across the border with his wife and kids. However, Dee Dee was suffering from a certain kidney disease that required daily medication, which they forgot to bring in their haste, leaving Casey no choice but to go to the pharmacy to buy the medicine. Unexpectedly, Casey's photo had been published in the newspaper, and upon recognizing Casey, the pharmacist hurriedly called the police, leading to Casey's immediate arrest. Hidden around the corner, Benjamin's heart bled, but he was powerless to do anything. Fortunately, before being taken away, Casey managed to throw the medicine into a trash can, barely sustaining Dee Dee for a few days. But after those few days, what then? Even if Benjamin risked arrest to go to the hospital, without any identification, it would be impossible for Dee Dee to receive treatment. With no other choice, Benjamin had to take Dee Dee to a private clinic. The environment here is dirty and messy, not to mention that the doctor took out the equipment is even rusty. Benjamin, how can he let this kind of things into Dee Dee's body? He left the money and ran away with Dee Dee. Looking at his increasingly weak daughter, Benjamin's emotions were mixed. With such a vast world, where could they find a place to belong? Holding his daughter tightly, his tears flowed uncontrollably.
You know Daddy loves you with all his heart, right? I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
Benjamin finally decided to turn himself in and made a call to Mahone. As a condition of his surrender, he demanded that Mahone ensure Casey and Dee Dee's freedom and safety.
I don't think I need to make a deal with you, Mr. Franklin.
Yo, what if I got something you need?
Mahone, too, had a troubled past. Several years ago, he accidentally killed a murderer during a violent arrest and buried the body in his backyard, leading to a painful divorce to protect his wife from discovering the truth. A mysterious company, upon uncovering Mahone's secret and using his family as leverage, coerced him into exploiting his position to hunt down the 8 escapees because among them, someone knew a devastating secret about the company. Mahone, who also has a wife and child, immediately arranged a hospital for Benjamin's daughter and released his wife. The supposed clue Benjamin offered was critical information on capturing Michael, one of the 8 escapees. It turns out that when Benjamin was digging for $5 million, he overheard Michael telling Sucre about a private mailbox on the internet, and told Sucre to contact him through the mailbox if he needed anything in the future. Impersonating Sucre, Benjamin sent several messages to the mailbox with no response. Bill believed Benjamin was deceiving them and ordered Mahone to eliminate him. Mahone had no choice but to explain the situation to Benjamin clearly. If you still want your wife and children to be safe, you will see a parcel when you return to the cell. You will know what to do after opening it. Upon opening the package and finding a rope inside, Benjamin immediately understood the implication. Despite his deep reluctance, Benjamin had no choice but to hang himself for the safety of his wife and child. Fortunately, a passing guard discovered him in time and saved him. After waking up, Benjamin urgently called Mahone to explain the situation. With Mahone not in the office, Benjamin could only ask Mahone's colleague to pass on a message. "I'll do what you asked. Just give me more time. And please, don't hurt my family." The words came out like a bolt from the blue, and even a fool could have guessed that Mahone was up to no good. Thus, internal affairs agents immediately intervened in the investigation. They approached Benjamin, promising him freedom and the erasure of his criminal record if he was willing to testify against Mahone's misconduct. It was a huge offer Benjamin couldn't refuse.
You put that in writing and you got yourself a witness.
Meanwhile, Mahone was descending into madness, still decoding the secrets of Michael's tattoos. After painstakingly arranging them, he finally realized that each tattoo followed a sequence, each corresponding to Michael's prior escape and subsequent steps. Mahone also discovered the final part of the plan. which was Michael's ultimate escape destination.
Be biblical, chapter 6, verse 17.
617, 617, June 17th. Oh, what's today?
15th.
So whatever his last step is.
It's gonna happen in 2 days.
However, the significance of the rose and saint depicted in the tattoos puzzled him. Gathering a large team, he began to decipher its meaning. Christ for the saint and rose combined to form Christina Rose, which was Michael's mother's name. Yet, Michael's file indicated that his mother had died early in Panama, raising questions about the connection to Michael's escape destination. While everyone pondered this mystery, Michael and Lincoln had already reached the shores of Panama. The Christina Rose turned out to be a large ship built in memory of Michael's mother, with 617 being the code to unlock it. Michael had constructed the ship before his incarceration, providing a means of escape to wherever they wished to go in the future. As internal affairs agents, armed with Benjamin's testimony, arrived at Mahone's office to collect evidence and bring him down. Mahone knew he could no longer stay in the United States. Thus, he fled overnight, planning to head to Panama. While looking at his child's photo and calling Pam, Mahone knew he had only one thing left to do before he could return to his family forever. Aware that going back meant capture and failing to deal with Michael and Lincoln would endanger his family due to the company's threats, Mahone resolved to steal Michael's escape plan and enjoy it solely with his family. Meanwhile, Michael, checking his mailbox during a moment of leisure, found a message from Sucre indicating that Teabag had also arrived in Panama. After much thought, Michael realized that it was precisely because he had escaped with Teabag that so many innocent people ended up losing their lives. Unable to overcome the guilt, he decided to capture Teabag and hand him over to the police before leaving. However, what he never expected was that the information actually came from Mahone, and Mahone's purpose in doing so was exactly to lure Michael out and capture him in one fell swoop.
See you soon.